Hello and welcome to the latest, newest podcast here that will give you amazing, interesting content that you have not seen on the streets of all podcast platforms. Thank you so much for being here. We are happy to bring amazing conversation to your table. Me, Queen Desta, as well as my co-host, Amina Tefari. Take it away.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Amena, and I am happy to be starting this podcast with Queen Desta. So, you guys, we're going to try to turn this into a live thing every week, Wednesday. We'll let you know the time. And yeah, you guys can send us some topics, whatever you want us to discuss. Let's be free, let's be open. Today's topic is going to be specifically dating and in the Habesha community. So, me and Dematis both have some experience in that, as you know. I'm currently married to a Habesha, and
Yeah.
if you watch Dematis's channel, then you know that she has some experience there too. So, overall, I guess, how about this? Overall, how would you describe your experience dating a Habesha man?
Okay. Based on my experience with Habesha men, in that case, because I'm female, and well, I almost got into some political conversations of being like I'm straight and stuff like this, everything going on. I have to say it, it's been an interesting journey to see how different people perceive things, even matters to do with like relationships in terms of their interest, how they show love, how they express love, things they do, things that is not acceptable. Uh, yeah, that I'll get into more details as we get into it. I also have to say, for me, I have a broader experience with Habesha men, even more than the dating aspect, on a general perspective. But where I feel like for you, Amina, you have an experience with a specific man. I don't know if
Yeah.
you agree to that.
No, definitely. I definitely agree. So I really just have like one person, which is my husband that I've dated that was Habesha. We've been together for 6 years now, so I kind of have, and I've met his family. Obviously, I've been to Ethiopia twice, if you guys don't know, met everyone. So I kind of know how the men behave, I see his friends here and how they move in the streets, so I'm kind of a little bit familiar. But
Yeah.
overall for me, I mean, obviously I'm married, so overall it's been positive. There's definitely culture differences that we'll talk about maybe a little bit later on.
Okay, something I'm also curious to know is
Hmm.
the end of this conversation that will come to a conclusion is based on your experience of interaction with Ethiopian men that are diasporans and those that are from here. I'm interested to see that, to hear.
Oh
Yeah, you
yeah,
can.
that's a good point because they are different. They're very different. So the first question that I have submitted by a follower on Instagram, she is asking, this isn't necessarily Habesha men, but you can apply it to Habesha men. She's saying, can a guy and a girl be friends? Purely, strictly platonic friends, meaning nobody wants anything more on either side. It's just strictly business. Yes or no?
That's a tricky question because I never had a story or a phrase that if two people that would never be interested in each other were put in a desert, they would end up being soulmates and loving each other and caring for each other.
Yeah.
But I would say it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because emotions easily come in. the, for it to be a yes, there has to be boundaries and
Mhm.
communicated as well as respected. Yeah. But another thing that has to be put in the question is there another person? Like, for example, I can be friends with a man, but am I in a relationship? And what does the man I'm in a relationship with feel about the person I'm with? Because if they have issues with the friendship with the other gender, the one I'm in a relationship with comes first before the friend. So
Right.
tricky situation for me. we can be friends with that person together with my spouse. How about that?
Okay, would you say that it's easy to make Habesha men that are friends?
Is it easy?
Is it
Oh,
easy to befriend Habesha men, especially in Ethiopia?
is it easy to befriend her patient? It's not hard. Also because I'm a foreigner, it becomes more intriguing and more interesting for them. Uh, yeah.
And
Then of course,
do you feel like they respect any boundaries that you set up in terms of being platonic, not crossing the line for the most part?
well, the interesting, and that's why I'm saying the fact that I'm a foreigner.
Yeah.
I've found it more common than not that some of the people that I've met are just majorly interested in having something with a foreign girl, not necessarily even a major thing, you know?
Right.
So could be friendship, platonic, but I am waiting for the perfect time or for that time that anything can happen. That's how my experience has been so far. But I do
Okay.
have friends, yeah. Of course, now I don't. I also have to be alert on my own side.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, my opinion is this, like when I think of friendship, because in Ethiopia they use that term very loosely, you know, everybody's a friend, everybody's a brother, everybody's a sister, everybody like
Ooh,
when
ooh.
I think when I think friendship, that's somebody that I am actively maintaining a relationship with. That's somebody that I am talking to a couple of times a week, like minimum once a week, you know, I know their secrets, they know mine. Like we are actively always involved. That's a friendship to me. Somebody that like you just see once a month is not a friendship, that's an acquaintance. Or somebody that you knew from childhood and you're like, "Oh, we're friends, we grew up together," but you talk to them maybe like once or twice a year to say Merry Christmas or Happy Eid or whatever. That's just somebody that you used to know. That is not a friend. An actual friend, I would say I don't think that's possible because for me, at least, the way that I view friendship, it's very weird for me to like be actively have a friend with a man and forget about the fact that I'm married. Even when I wasn't married, like my friends were always girls. It's just more what I feel more comfortable with, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
men can and usually do if you know they'll try to push that line as much as possible, you know, no matter how much you tell them, okay, only friends, especially here in the US. Here in the US kind of different, you know, they don't want to be serious at all. They just want one thing, which I won't say, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a hard no on that because no, I don't think so. Active friendship, you have a
Mm,
relationship, if you have a boyfriend or a husband,
yeah.
that's very weird if you are like, I'm gonna call my guy friend and I'm gonna talk to him for 2 hours and we're gonna go to the mall. Bye, Elias. Like, that's weird. No.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah,
We went
so
on vacation.
great. I'm planning a vacation with my guy friend and leaving my husband behind. Like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. No, no.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know a lot of people will probably disagree with that because a lot of people will say, well, I know that's not true. I have, you know, work friends or whatever. Like I said, those are work acquaintances. Like, you know, friendship is different, at least for me.
I
But I,
agree
yeah,
on the definition of what that kind of friendship is. Yeah.
yeah.
True.
Yeah, and I know in Ethiopia, you know, everybody's just so lovely. So everybody is a friend and a brother and a sister. So I get it. But realistically, you're not friends with somebody if you talk to them once every 3 months. Like, that's not really a friendship. Okay, so I have
Mm,
the next question. This is very specific. It says, why do Habesha men waste our time until our age is gone? I'll let you handle that first.
situation. Oh, well, I wish I had like context or a backstory to this, because I also feel
Yeah.
like you need to stay longer if you knew and allow your. Maybe did they give promises that were not there or something like this, guys?
Mhm.
So that's why I wish I had some context. But I also have to say it. I feel like for me, my experience has been I've seen Habesha men to be more loyal. If that's a thing. Like for example, someone I've seen people in relationships and they met from like early university days or high school and they still push through up until marriage, even
Yeah.
it lasting like 5 to 10 years dating season. So why do Habesha men? ah, Well, please, did Elias take long? Did he keep
Oh,
you waiting?
absolutely not. I did not allow that. Are you kidding me? No, guys, to be honest, I did like put the foot down. I was like, I'm not waiting. Either it's happening or it's not.
Yeah.
Men, and it's not just Habesha men, it's just men in general. They are like kind of afraid of commitment, like long-term commitment, especially marriage. For us
Mm.
women, I think women are more easier to, okay, let's get married, but men take it like so serious. And with Habesha men, this is my opinion at least, and I'm just being honest, I think that a lot of Habesha men are just not financially in the place where they want to be. So they're not going to get married. That's something my husband has always told me, like, you don't get married in Ethiopia if you don't have money. What does that mean? It doesn't make sense. You can't even take care of yourself or your family. So a lot of men, a lot of Habesha men they're just not where they want to be. And I'm not saying they're poor. I'm just saying like maybe they have goals in life that they want to achieve, financial wise, education, whatever it may be. If they don't do that first, they are not thinking about marriage at all. And they might keep you, like if you're a good woman and they like you, they might keep you in the meantime, like she's saying, until her age is gone. But yeah, it's just a tricky thing.
To add on to that, based on my experience, is I have seen a lack of uh, open like right word or expressing themselves fully. I know some people will come at me for this, but like being able to even communicate that, you
Yeah.
know what, I'm not ready for this and not entertaining like the ladies there thinking I'm getting married after 2 weeks while the man is already like, no, I need to figure this out, this other thing, and that will take like 3 to 4 years. Being able to communicate that is better for the woman to be able to make a choice on am I waiting or I'm out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that it kind of goes back to like Habesha culture. They're very non-confrontational and they don't want to hurt your feelings. Like they really don't. So they will kind of like just
Yeah.
string you along and they won't really tell you how they feel, especially if it's not like especially if it's something negative or they know like it's gonna hurt your feelings. So I agree, transparency would be great, but that's not gonna happen. I think as a woman, honestly, as a woman, you just have to like put your foot down and say, I'm not doing no like long-term dating. Either
Mhm.
we're dating for marriage and we have a time frame or not.
Yeah.
And if it really is a problem to the follower, if it really is a problem that they keep like wasting time, I don't know. I might say like try dating a little older.
But that's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Not even because of Habesha men, but basically because of the world. When men
Yeah.
are old, not just men, even women, get to have known yourself, known what you want,
Yeah.
established your career, just many things figured out somehow, even if not everything. Yeah. So I agree.
Now, would you consider dating a little older? Like, let's say 10 years older.
Nice question. Nice question. Nice question. You have to tell the whole world. Well, recently I met a couple that I don't know if I should say their story, but anyway, they shared online, so I might as well as share.
Mhm.
The lady in her young age of 20, 30s, she never was interested in getting in a relationship and marriage thingy. Then at her 40s, just 30, let's say 38, she started feeling the need to have a family, or her perspective about the world and life changed. And
Mhm.
tried to get someone at the age of like 5 year difference, something like this. What is acceptable by the society, I guess. Now I'm questioning so many things. Anyway, she finally came to the point of admitting that she could only get married to someone who was divorced, or they even had like who is like 10 years older. Like those were the men that were available.
Yeah.
So for that, even if I really wanted to be like, I just want 2, 3, 5 years older, um, of the idea that, well, long story short, yes, I would.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, other things come first, like love, connection, chemistry,
Mhm.
our goal moving forward, all those things. Yeah. If you are a man, would you date
Mhm.
an elder lady up to like 10 years older than you?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Absolutely. I'm being honest. If I was a man, absolutely not.
okay.
Because, okay, so number one, and this is going to sound really vain, but if I'm a man, I want my wife to be youthful because I want her to have kids. That's a main thing. And after a certain point, it becomes very hard for women to have kids. So 10 years older, like, even if I'm 20, that would mean she's 30. And you're pushing it. You're pushing it even. Nobody gets married at 20. So just
Already kids with another person entirely.
you said what?
What if you already have kids with another person and you're not interested in kids? You just want
Okay.
companion.
Um Maybe. It would really depend though. It's so much different. Like a man being 10 years older is so much different than a woman being 10 years older. Would you, if you were a man, would you marry a woman 10 years older?
No, because I also feel like my place as a man in a relationship is very different compared to the place of a woman.
Hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. Like, you pushing double digits there. Maybe like five, maybe. All right,
Mhm.
well, we have another question. This question is pretty heavy. It says, I have a fear whether or not my significant other is the right one for me is the right one for me to marry. How can I be sure?
Can you please start with your answers, young
Right?
lady? You already married. How are you sure? Please give me the tip.
Okay. The like 100% honest, truthful answer is that you're never going to be 100% sure. It's just never. So things that help is like for me, for example, it was how was the process of getting married? For example, when I initiated and I brought up, what do you think about getting married? Yes, I want to get married. And then it was like, how did everything happen? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Did our families approve? Or were
Mhm.
they making it more difficult? Did we struggle like to do the marriage process? All of that, like if there were a lot of struggles and a lot of hardships in order to get married, then I would have been like, I'm not sure. I don't really know. But it happened like flawlessly. I don't want to say you're gonna know that it's the right person, but you will have a very confident feeling that you're making the right decision. And if you don't, then no.
So question, does it mean people that have divorced did not have that confidence that that was the right person, or was the person right? Then because of life, things changed.
I think that life happens and things change. So I believe that they did love each other. But for example, here in the US, I can't speak for Ethiopia because I don't know. But here in the US, the majority of divorces are about money and it mostly is initiated by women, even. So it's life that happens and changes the dynamic of the relationship. but
Mhm.
they still loved each other and had all of that, you know, when they
Yeah.
got married. And the thing is that people are scared of is that you are going to change. Like, you know, who you are right now is not who you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And if you're marrying someone, you're going to change, and so are they, but that's okay. You can change together, basically, is what I'm saying.
So to
Do you have,
answer this question,
mm-hmm,
even if I'm not married yet, I have to say one, maybe what I will use as a measure, or I have been using as a measure to know they are not the right people, is if I already have something that is a deal breaker, and
mm-hmm,
it is unacceptable. So from the first place, we should deal with, especially if it is something you're hoping that person will change. For example, an
yeah,
addiction or maybe a habit that you can't deal with. It's hard to, and if that person is not even willing, it's not a bother for them. I feel like for me that's a deal breaker, and I wouldn't go into marriage unless that situation is solved. I feel like more knowing what is acceptable for you and also knowing what you're willing to compromise on, because I feel like you will definitely have to compromise. I'm not sure, you can tell me, maybe you have not compromised anything. So just knowing what you want, and having like, this is the bare minimum. Sorry.
okay. Yeah, you broke up a little bit there. So you were saying that just knowing what you want and the bare minimums in your non-negotiables.
Yeah. Maybe I will know more when I get married. Can we get back to this question once I'm married? If I will one day.
Sure, but can you share one of your non-negotiables? What is one?
Ooh, for me, this is more like, if the smart people will get the dots, will connect the dots. But for me, if someone smoke, regardless of how much I love them, it's enough for me. So uh I'm okay in that scenario of still figuring out things and getting to know them. But now I'm now in a better place. As you said, it's an example. Some of these things is not as automatic as smoking, for example, because you'll know if someone smokes very soon, so you don't need to
Yeah.
get deeper into relationship. But even if regardless, and it's one day to our marriage, and I discover that this guy maybe smokes, for me, um, yeah, I don't know if I would
Are
still play.
you talking about smoking cigarettes or everything?
Well,
Just curious.
not talking. It's like, tell everybody, let everyone know what you want or what you don't want. Hmm.
Because
Maybe.
I can say, let me just say this, because I come from a country, Sudan, which has a culture of shisha, and a lot of those North African, Middle Eastern countries have that, and it's normal. Like, yeah, in Sudan, it's like it's bad. People would be like, "Oh, you smoke shisha," but it's not like the worst thing in the world. People
Mhm.
won't really judge you, and they do it socially, you know, on the weekends with friends or whatever. I'm talking about men. And so, like, would that be a deal breaker for you?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, yes.
Okay.
About maybe, just maybe, a social kind of smoking, but an addiction kind of smoking, regardless of what it is, I do have a problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Now, I'm just curious. I just want to lean into this a little bit. I'm just curious because I know in Ethiopia, like they are really, really like, well, shisha is illegal, and like people really judge you if you smoke it. Is that why you have like the idea that you have, or is it just your own personal thing?
It's my own personal thing.
Okay.
Ah, I confess things to my family. Before I was in a relationship with someone that used to smoke, and it really pissed me off a lot. Like,
Yeah.
in shock. So yeah, I just noticed it's something I don't want, and I also don't want to put it on someone to stop. So it's
No,
based on
I understand. I want, I want to make it clear, I'm not like advocating for smoking. It sounds like I'm defending it. Like, why not? Why not, Devanis? No. But I just want to say my point was that because you said it as one of your non-negotiables. So I was just really curious because I think that a lot of women have non-negotiables that maybe necessarily shouldn't be. Like, if he smokes
Mm-hmm.
socially, then that's something
Yeah.
that he could quit. Or if he drinks socially too, that's something that they can quit. For me personally, alcohol is worse than smoking, but I don't like cigarettes. It stinks. It's nasty. But alcohol, because the way that they behave, I don't like drunkenness at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But that does that mean also they don't entirely drink at all?
The thing, like, if it was up to me, no. But the thing is, like, if you like this, oh, I'm just gonna have one always ends up being two. That's the thing I don't like about alcohol is that it's hard to stop, I guess. Like, especially when you're with friends and in Ethiopia, they're like, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And it's just like,
And now that I talked about smoking, now I'm thinking I have so many friends that smoke cigarette, shisha, everything
hmm.
illegal. Oh, they'll be looking at me like, oh, she's judging us.
Right?
Well, I just talked marriage, not friendship.
Yeah. I don't like either. I don't like smoking or drinking, but to make my point, like I was just saying, non-negotiable, I don't know. Like I know a non-negotiable for a lot of women is like if I don't want to have kids and the man wants to have kids, then obviously that wouldn't work out. You would never
Yeah,
want to put yourself in that situation.
true.
Yeah.
What was you? What was one of your non-negotiables? Did you even have any?
My non-negotiable was that they had to be African, like from the motherland, not born here. Yeah, definitely.
Not.
But
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
not born here. No offense to the men born here, but you guys are something different. I needed my pure African.
Another time we should talk about American in the replacement of Habesha.
Yeah, that would be a different video for sure. But yeah, I think we kind of got off topic, but okay, we can go back to the questions. So the next question says, how do you handle conflict, especially when you are or when you don't speak the same languages or you're from different countries? So Habesha.
See, there was one time that I was with this Habesha guy
Uh-huh.
that was introduced as my boyfriend. And he ever talked to me. You know how you could be talking and you just randomly speak Amharic? So he talked to me in
Yeah.
Amharic. I was pissed. I was mad. I was like, why are you talking? Then I realized, well, maybe I had a burnout scenario, something like this.
Mm,
Uh, how do I handle conflict? One, we have to respect the fact that all of us have different cultures and be
yeah.
open to what these different cultures could be. I feel like, for example, in terms of culture and religion, most of the
Mm,
conflict comes when you introduce a child, when the two of you are thinking of a child, because they are the ones that need to either take up the new culture or the religion. And then now the two of you have two of these, you have to agree on what are you passing on to the child. I'm just thinking.
yeah.
So most of it would like put it put it as okay, we'll figure that out when we get there. But the fact that now there is expectation, for example, of we are eating injera, for example, every other day. For me, I'm like, no, I'm not sure. Let's now also, can you adjust to ugali too? Like, is the other person also open to my way of doing life? And I found
Right.
it more because I'm a traveler and I'm in Ethiopia. I'm easily into the Ethiopia culture, but are they open to how we do life? So that is one that I have found to be I can't play. You want to play your music the entire time, and can I show you my music? But when I turn my music on, you're sleeping. I'm like, oh my God, is it that boring? So yeah, I think accepting, accepting both cultures really, where everyone comes from. I think you have a better understanding of this because you've gone beyond just knowing the minimal things to accepting that this is your new reality or this is your reality.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. A big part of it is accepting the other person and who they are because you're not going to change that thing. And I would just say, like, in general, I find that Ethiopians just, they don't like conflict. They really tend to avoid conflict. So for me, I'm a reactive person. And it's something that I'm working on. And I try. Don't react. But I'm just a reactive person. Elias is completely the opposite. Like completely the opposite. So it actually like makes things a lot worse. For us, both of us have to like kind of come and meet in the middle. Like I have to try to not be so reactive and he has to try to open up a little bit, and communicate more and stuff like that. So for us, we had to kind of like meet in the middle. The arguments really aren't that bad with Habesha people because of their like non-combative, non-argumentative type of nature that they have. And I'm not saying, I know somebody's going to be like, no, that's not true. They get angry. I'm not saying that they don't get angry. I'm sure they explode and stuff. But generally, like, I find that Habesha people are not, like, they're more prone to peace. They would rather smile and do a fake smile and, like, keep living throughout the
Yeah, I agree
day.
on being prone to peace. I agree on them being prone to peace. But another thing
Mm,
that I've found is them avoiding anything that could bring conflict, but still
yeah.
sticking to maybe opinion or way and not
Mm,
being open to another thing. But still they're not willing to more like that is their comfort and I'm okay here.
right. Like,
Yeah.
they're Ethiopian and they're like, I'm Ethiopian. I've never been colonized. This is my country. I'm not changing nothing. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
another thing too, is like Ethiopia is Ethiopian people are very proud of their country. And it's like when I say it right now, I don't think people actually understand what I mean. Like you don't really understand until you meet Ethiopians or like you go to Ethiopia to fully mean like what I mean when I say they're proud of their country. I'm not just talking about, oh, I love my country, and like in the food, in the music, in the like everything, which is great. Which is great. I like it. It's actually this is a different topic, but it's actually so different to Sudan because in Sudan people are like, I want to get out of here. I don't like this country.
after coming here is when I felt like I need to love Kenya more out of being challenged on how I was like, whew, what about Kenya can I say? Or can I stand with? Or I'm just being too open to take up any other thing that I find out there. Unlike
Yeah.
them, they're holding on to whatever is there. Yeah.
See, me, because I was like born and raised outside of Sudan, I kind of always had like a love for Sudan and I wanted, to like preach about Sudan and share it with the world. And then when I tried to do that on YouTube back in 2016 and got so much freaking hate from the Sudanese people. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, so yeah, I'm good.
Mm.
That was like a
Question.
side rant.
I have a question in relation to conflict. What is one thing about your culture and Ethiopian culture that has brought a major conflict? It could not be that big, but like that has brought a conflict between you and Elias.
Well, the one that I can think of very easily is the dynamic of relationships in Ethiopia. So in Sudan, we are more of a conservative country, majority Muslim. And so the dynamic of like men and women being friends is like it's very strict. Like even within some families, I'll say it goes by family because some families are more religious than others. So for me and my family, they were very religious, and even like the male cousins and the female cousins didn't really, interact together, especially well as kids, of course, but especially when you got a little bit older. It's like the girls are here, the boys are here. I don't even really talk to my male cousins right now. I only talk to my female cousins. Yeah. So it
Oh,
was very, yeah. And in Ethiopia, it's the opposite completely. You know, the cousins are, they say their cousins are like their family, and doesn't matter if it's a male cousin or a female cousin, you know. So that was one of the things, and I'm just being honest, guys, that was one of the things that like caused the problem because I was like, who are you talking to? Who is who is Betty? I'm like, who is this girl? And he's like, it's my cousin. And I'm like, I don't talk to my male cousins like that, you know, like we have to like understand each other. He's like, yeah, but no, in Ethiopia, they're my family. Like we grew up together. Like he's saying, like we literally grew up together, like raised around each other. And I was just like, oh, like, you know, I didn't understand it. I was like, that's so weird. We don't do that in Sudan, you know? But now after experiencing Ethiopia, I get it. I get
oh,
it.
yeah. It's interesting. I never knew about that. That's crazy. Oh well, we in that matter, we are like Ethiopians, like cousins are cousins. You can talk to either.
Even like the Muslim Kenyans.
I don't know. I'm not too informed about the Muslim Kenyans.
Mm,
Basically, maybe talk to the other Kenyan, non-Muslim Kenyans. Yeah.
right.
But also, I
Yeah.
think they have interacted with Kenyans. Like even the society is not very strict about it. They could maybe not be talking at the same level as I am, but it could also not be a big of a deal compared to
Yeah.
where you come from. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention like the biggest thing was like, you know, in Sudan, you can marry your cousin. That's why it's like, you know, you don't really interact with them after a certain point. And every family's different. So before anybody jumps on me, like, yes, there's some families that don't do that, but it's allowed. It is allowed. People do marry their cousins in Sudan. I know a lot of people that marry their cousins. So that's why. That's why, like, I had a different understanding. Cousin is like, you can marry them. And like even when Elias was like, "It's my cousin," I'm like, "So what does that mean?" You know?
Unconventional Amina being like, whoa, love it. I
Listen,
think Djibouti, yeah, I have that story. Djibouti is also a Muslim place, country, community, yeah. So you can get married to your cousin. Hmm. Okay.
the next question that I have is, have you ever felt left out?
So the question is, do I not feel left out?
Yeah,
I'd say Ethiopians are inclusive,
yeah,
especially I'd say all of them. They even if they don't, you can't communicate, they'll try their best to include you, invite you in the food, just engage you, teach you a few Amharic words here and there.
yeah,
So I would say, well, this is a tricky one. The fact that I have been to different places and I have kind of mastered how to not feel left left aside or not included in whatever is going on.
yeah,
Yeah, because I also create my own space in the midst of, oh, there's a language barrier. Okay, fine. I have
mm,
like a zoning too. Uh, but I feel included here in Ethiopia. Most of the people try to
yeah,
include. I appreciate that. Also, if anyone is looking to get into relationship matters because we're talking about dating or stroke marriage. I feel like communication is a very big deal. I would
yeah,
not get in a relationship with someone we cannot communicate. Just as there is sapiosexual, there is communisexual. So I have that. There's nothing like that. I just made that up. Yeah.
yeah,
So being able to talk, how are we going to resolve issues if we can only speak 20 words to each other? You know,
mm.
would you have anything with someone you can't speak, you can't communicate right? You have a language barrier.
Um, it's possible
Ah,
because, but the thing is, like, I speak English, so I'm like I could teach them English, like that's fine. Or I feel like they could learn. I don't know. I feel like everybody can learn English, but that might be ignorant to say. No, I don't. Yeah, it wouldn't be. I think I could do it.
what if he just spoke Amharic? He didn't speak English.
Well, you know what? When I first met Elias, his English was pretty rough. Listen, he could speak English, but it definitely improved just from our marriage, and yeah, it's improved a lot.
I don't mind rough English, but we should be able to communicate.
Definitely. Well, see, when you're in love though, like love has no love has no brain, you know. You communicate through love, Damaris, through love. Have you seen 90 Day Fiance? Like, there's so many couples that they literally can't speak to each other. They use a translator app, but they make it happen.
No, I'm not using no translator app.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just joking with you too. I don't think I could be with someone who can't speak.
Before, you see how someone could be talking and I don't know what it's called in English, but like you instead of saying words with an L, they say it with an R, or they add an S or whatever. Like
Yeah.
say words. I used to be turned off by people talking like that. So for you to tell me a later, I'm out of here. Like long time.
Wait, can I ask you randomly which accent do you like the most?
Hmm, which accent do I like the most? First,
Hmm.
I'm guilty not of losing my accent very fast. Which accent do I love UK accent.
Which
British.
one? British?
British.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
And you.
For me, it's American. I mean, I'm just used to it.
So that's
I'm
what
used
the
to it.
you like the most.
Well, no, that wouldn't really make sense, I guess. The accent that I love the most is um like African men who speak English. Like my husband. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It kind of reminds me of my dad. That's really weird to say, but my dad has an accent, and so like it reminds me of my dad. And it's like,
Makes sense.
Elias, he talks exactly like my uncle, which is like,
Oh, yeah. Now we see.
yeah,
We see
yeah.
point how he got how he won this game.
Another question that we have is, okay, this is somebody who wants to get in a relationship with a Ethiopian person. So they're saying like, how can I attract an Ethiopian man or woman? This person is not living in Ethiopia. They live here in the US.
Mm. Oh, okay, okay. You can log on to Ethiopian applications like Lonjo app. There's several applications. Then you can meet up with Ethiopians. You can go
Hmm.
to an Ethiopian restaurant, courtesy of Amena. You can visit Ethiopia. That is like the easiest. You can visit
Yeah,
Ethiopia, come interact with people. What else can you do? Yeah, even other dating applications as well as the ones that are open to African people. Then you filter out to only Ethiopian if you're
mm,
interested in it. Yeah, but I would highly recommend visiting Ethiopia because that's very easy. You'll meet them in person. You'll get
yeah.
to be friends even before like other things. Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. It's kind of hard here, depending on where you live. Dallas, where I live, is pretty heavy in the Habesha community, but depending on where you live, you might not even have any people. So, like Damata said, online is probably your best bet, or just make a trip to Ethiopia, which is probably not feasible for everybody, but you can also Instagram. I heard Instagram is like the biggest dating app nowadays, which I didn't know. But a lot of people meet through Instagram.
But now I'm thinking, you said traveling is not feasible for everyone.
Yeah,
How is
it's
it
not.
possible for one to have an Ethiopian, especially if they reside in Africa, in Ethiopia? It's going to be tricky if they have not figured out how they will travel at some point.
Well, I think that's different because like you if you're
Different
just
priority.
like yeah, you're going for a purpose of like I'm going to get married or to go meet my significant other or whatever, like you have a purpose, but it's hard to just be like just go visit Ethiopia and you might not even like get any buddy from it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
What is attractive for an Ethiopian person?
Like more like what are Ethiopian men basically looking for, right?
Yeah, basically.
What do you think they're looking for?
I don't know. I mean, it's a hard question to answer. Plus, I
Yes.
feel like here, Ethiopians are probably looking for something different than
Passport?
over there.
Joking. Uh-huh.
Right. That's definitely true. Do you believe that somebody can be like in love and also want the passport?
Yeah.
So you don't like, there's no problem with that, right? Like if they're like, if they say like, I want to come to the US and I'm in love with you, both of those things could exist.
These are two independent things. I'm in love with you is a statement on its own. And I want a passport is a statement on its own. And I feel
Yeah.
like pure honesty. It's like it's like saying there's a problem with getting married to a rich person. Who doesn't love money?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think that a lot of Americans have this really like weird viewpoint of like those two things are mutually exclusive. Like it's like, oh no, either they love you or they just like it's I'm like, no, that's not true. You can love somebody and also want to come to the US. Now, then, I look stupid because a lot of times, like, people do get used. Like Elias was telling me, like, people can really trick you and make you believe that they love you, and it's just like a long con, like they don't, and they might come here and then divorce or whatever. But I always pushed against that because I said, I don't, you can't be an actor forever. There's gonna be some red flag or something that I see,
Mhm.
and I'm like, no, that's not, something's fishy there. That's
Yeah.
like a long time to be acting and faking. By the time you make it to the US, it takes a couple of years.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, it's a long time. A long time. I
Yeah,
feel like this demand is maybe more for those that are already there, though maybe are they legally or stuff like this. That I don't know, but I still believe you can be in love and you want the passport.
definitely. Yeah. And I guess going back to the question, what would make you attractive? I think Ethiopian men like women who know how to cook.
Yes.
And they probably, to be honest, they probably want you to be more traditional, like cooking and cleaning.
Okay. I wanted to say the exact word. You have to be a traditional wife
Yeah,
in terms of roles, responsibility, uh, just as it was. The
that's
number
the
of
one.
men here that can't wash a glass, like it's insane.
Let me tell you something. I've seen a lot of Habesha men here that are like, single. They don't have their mother or sister or girlfriend or anything. Their cars and their houses is it's so bad. I'm like, oh my God, I can tell you have no woman in your life. It's a disaster.
Hmm.
So how would you feel if you were cooking and cleaning and you had to work as well? Are you fine with that?
Now the whole world is about to also know if I'm a traditional woman or I am.
Are you a traditional woman?
Based on my life experience, I have not cooked for the last 3 years. So such things don't come easy to me.
Mm, right.
Uh, we we just somehow have to balance. Yeah, yeah. We have. It's not my responsibility. It is our responsibility.
Are you gonna expect him to cook like all the time or just part time?
An expectation, or it is our. If we are eating, then we are cooking. So it's either I'm cooking, you're cooking. Yeah, there has to be a way of balance. I don't even want him to expect that cooking is out of those thoughts. It is me to do it. Yeah.
What if he said, Damaris, I am going to take care of everything. I just want you to be a housewife, cook and clean.
I be a housewife? Oh my God, that's tricky. I am fascinated by golf, by doing things,
Yeah.
by creating, by many other things than just being a housewife. Especially if you're in Africa, where labor is cheap, you want me to be a housewife to wash
Yeah.
utensils and things? Really?
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I feel like you're a free spirit and it would you would like resent it after some time, you know.
I would resent it before I got there.
Okay. Well, all right. We can do another question. One good trait and one bad trait about Ethiopian men.
Ooh. For me, I would say one good trait that I found is they're loyal. I've seen them
Mm-hmm.
sticking to people. Maybe it's from trauma from where I'm coming from, that even the rate of like cheating from where I'm coming from is very high.
Yeah.
And being able to see, come here and find men that are even loyal to themselves and even some telling you, like, can I be honest? This is like
Mhm.
something I could not speak to the world, but based on the few places I have been to, this is one of the countries that I interacted with men, not women, men,
Yeah.
and with a higher percentage telling you they are waiting till they are married for them to engage in sexual stuff and stuff like this. So I'm like, they are being, like, if you call that loyal to themselves, if they can
Yeah.
maintain that, they can also maintain it for a family. So for me, I would say that they are loyal. I've seen more loyalty on that way. The thing a trait I don't like is I feel like they are close-minded somehow and not open to many other things. Not everyone, but
Mm-hmm.
like based on my experience.
Yeah. Dang, I don't
How
want
about
to just like copy what you said, but that was pretty good. Those are pretty good answers. One positive thing I would say, I don't want to copy you, so I'm gonna say that the pride that they have for their country, I think that's a positive thing. I love the confidence that they have. Like that confidence like exudes in everything that they do, you know. Just in general, I would say one negative thing is I don't, well, yeah, this is about men. I think I don't like how they party. It's too much. Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah,
too
okay,
much.
yeah.
We
Well,
we know.
something else that I found to appreciate about relationships, this is maybe not just about, this is me as a foreigner observing couples here in Ethiopia. They have high level of public display of affection. And the funny thing
Mm,
is, when you tell the Ethiopians they have PDA, they do not know that they do have it. Like they'll be walking on the streets holding hands, cuddling, sort of cuddling as they walk, throwing a kiss here and there. We rarely have this in my country. So saying it here, telling them, they think for them it's normal, so they don't think it is. But I have observed it several times, like in many streets, in even in restaurants, stuff like this. Even like gursha is a form of PDA, just that it's cultural, you know.
yeah.
Ah, I love to say it.
Yeah, you know what? It was awkward for me. In Sudan, at least, it's never you'll never see like a man and a woman holding hands in public. Like I said, conservative country. It wasn't weird, but it was like weird to actually it wasn't weird because I live in the US. I've seen everything. What am I talking about? I've seen everything. It wasn't weird. Yeah.
Well, in my case, there is no public display of affection. This is not true, or maybe it's true because many people are cheating, so they don't want to be caught as they're showing affection out there.
Yeah, you actually made a good point too. I think that I would change my answer and say that's what I like about Ethiopian men is like when you are in a relationship with one, like you will definitely feel loved. You know, like they will like make you your number one for them. Like they want to do anything for you to make you happy. Like they'll go like beyond just to make you smile, make you laugh. Like yeah, it's very different from like men here in the US. Like men here in the US, I feel they don't put in the effort as much as
Oh,
Ethiopian men.
oh, okay, 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 okay. That's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. Yeah.
Let me say as a pointer, because we talked a lot about the men, as a pointer
Yeah.
or bonus women, I would say, for a man looking to get in a relationship, especially a foreigner, looking to get into a relationship with a Habesha woman, you have to be more confident and to be like you know what you really want and be able to express that. Because I feel like there's so many barriers when you're approaching a Habesha woman. Because for her, she will want to continue being in her space. It's more easier for her to just also get married like a Habesha as well.
Yeah.
Also, because of the language barrier, you find more men can risk speaking something. Women who can even speak English, they will choose to just be silent. So
Yeah.
you just have like, let's say if you were to put in 20% effort to a whatever person from your country, maybe do 30% for a Habesha if you're a foreigner. That's one of the tips I would give. Because I've met many foreigners that are like, I don't know how to start conversations. It can't we cannot go beyond two sentences, stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah. At the opposite, I think that that actually like gives you a lot of stuff to talk about, you know. You just ask questions. Oh, what is this? What is this? What do you eat? What's your favorite food? You know, what is this in your country? How do like you, it helps like, you know, it actually helps you to converse and have things to talk about. You could just be like, what is that flag right there? Like, what does it mean? What is, you know, anything. But like Namada said, be affirmative, like be confident and pursue them. And I would probably say be more serious because I don't think that they like games, you know. But I don't know. Somebody might be like listening to this like horrible advice, you know. I don't know. Yeah.
And we miss on that one. You have to love. You even if you don't like something, just kind of pretend you like it. I thought
Yeah. I guess I already asked, but do you have any closing thoughts again?
oh well, in the poll that we did about this conversation that we were going to have, I got question about me and my relationship with Habesha stroke Ethiopian men. And I have to say, happy to report or sad to report, depending on how you receive this information, that uh, no, that phase ended, and now we are exploring somewhere else. I'm joking, but like, no.
I mean, are you still open for a Habesha person?
Apparently, no.
Eh, apparently, no.
I know that was like too fast to answer, but
Whoa.
based on my experience, I'm not sure the reason that I have fully said no makes sense, but ah, based on my experience, it hasn't. I don't know what I'm saying at this point because what I'm trying to say is not something I'm sure I want to tell the whole world on
Okay.
what it is
Mm.
find out for
So,
myself.
you know, so basically for the past like hour for the past hour we've been telling you guys how great Ethiopians are and Damana says, "Nope, I'm not." It's all good.
Okay,
Yeah.
uh, I am having a problem with dealing with situ. I wouldn't say people. Let me say situations where someone is too grounded about something I'm finding it hard to maneuver through that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing though to be grounded in your ideas, depending on what it is. It really depends on what it is. Sometimes it's a good thing. It's a good trait to have, especially as a man.
Yeah, but apparently my interest for Ethiopian men ended, and it's not necessarily anything that I can be, unless I have not met that one yet. Maybe I'll meet and then I'll be like, "Who? What was I talking about that time in the podcast?" Uh, yeah. So, but for now, I'm happy to try and make Ethiopian men my friends.
Oh, she friend zoned all Ethiopian men. Shoot. That's so funny. Yeah, you know what? Me and you are gonna have to talk more privately after this. Got some
I for
things
sure.
to discuss.
I'll give you all my reasons. It was not well. But yeah.
All right, everybody. So thanks for joining us for our very first podcast. So leave your topics, questions, anything that you want us to discuss for the next video. Like I said, we will try to make the next one live. I don't know if we'll be able to, depending. But yes, and also we want to ask you guys for a name for this podcast because we're going to be doing this consistently every week on Wednesday. So obviously, you know, I'm Amina Tafari. This is Queen Desta, but give us a unique name. Yeah, don't say Amina and Desta. Like, give us some cool, unique names. No African, you know, no like Queens of Africa. You know, we just want to be inclusive to everybody. And whoever leaves the best name, if we choose it, you guys will receive $100.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, all right, guys. I had a great time talking with you, Damaris, and we're gonna get our topic and everything ready for next week. So
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
for sure.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.